Don't ask me to talk.
From the sublime to the ridiculous.
Join me, Stacey Heller,
And me, Eric Ryder.
as we talk about what's good to watch, read, see, listen to, and more.
An edutaining 1-hour break in your day that includes the segment, What Are We Eating? Sponsored by Dingfelder's Delicatessen.
Stick with us for something good. Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Ask Me to Talk. I am Stacey Heller, one of the co-hosts, and I'm joined, of course, by the other co-host.
Hey, it's me, Eric Ryder.
Hey, it's you.
That's right.
I like that. Like, hey, here I am. Hey everybody, this show is as a reminder is good old-fashioned conversation. It's random topics and tangents off of those random topics because, like, I don't know. I never met a tangent I didn't like, and I have noticed that you're really good at going with the flow, Eric.
Thank you. You know, I tell you what, I haven't been to a party in a long, long time, but back in the day when I actually attended things, I think it would have been so much nicer if we had like the Wheel O topics to drag around. I could just wander up to some folks. And then we'd be like, what the heck? And I'd say, so, favorite holidays, or whatever, something like that.
It's a starting point.
It would have been lifesaver instead of...
well, because it's hard to walk up and just sort of like...
those cocktail wieners you got there.
Right, exactly.
That sort of thing. It's just...
And if you're not into sports, then
Yes.
it's like you're not going to be like, hey, how about those whatever?
Right.
And if you do say that, then somebody might think you actually know what you're talking about and start talking. Yeah, I'm with you.
Then I'm out of my depth really quick when the sports talk
Same.
starts.
All I have to do, though, is if I mention, like, oh, how about those Seahawks? And somebody starts talking, I'm like, actually, I'm a Giants fan. So that shuts people down real quick. I don't know. It's kind of nice. You're right. To have something that there's a little bit of structure and yet you can also kind of go with the flow. I decided that it's edutaining audio.
I like it.
Right? Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of edutaining audio, if we are edutaining you, then, hey, you can find past episodes of the show wherever you find your podcasts. And you can subscribe so that you never miss an episode and you don't have to worry about missing these random conversations that we have. If you want to connect with us, you can text or call 475-999-2726. Or in the words of Eric,
475-999-CRAM.
There you go. Also, if you want to follow the show on Instagram, you can find it on the Instagram page, Stacey Talks. Once again, I'm a little behind because I was sick, but it'll get back, I promise.
Also, didn't you take a social media holiday as one of your...
I did, as one of my challenges.
Yeah,
and it's been a little awkward
awkward
because I have had a few people ask me about, like, oh, did you see this and did you see that? And I'm like, no. And it's funny, no one ever asks. And then in this 7-day period that I took my social media diet, a ton of people have asked me. And I'm like, sorry. Anyway, it is that time in the show when we share some ridiculous high holidays. So the first day I had to mention because it's National Annie Day. And not like Annie, like the sun'll come out, the name Annie.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I thought that was tomorrow.
Wow. Nope, it's today.
Oh,
today.
Okay. It's not a day away.
It's not a day away. It
All
is
right, well,
today.
Happy
Today's
Annie
the
Day.
Yeah, so happy Annie Day. I have a daughter. Her given name is Anne, but she goes by Annie. And so happy Annie Day, Annie.
To the raggedy ones, to the non-raggedy ones.
The Raggedy Ann, and Little Orphan Annie, and all the other Annies out there. It is also National Popcorn Day. Now, where are you on popcorn as a snack?
I love it. Especially when I go to the movies, but I also make it at home.
Same. Okay, so when I go to the movies, even if I'm alone, I get the gigantic one. And I want the buttery topping, because it's so good. I want them to put it on halfway through and then jiggle it around and add more because I want it to go all the way through. And when you get your popcorn, do you show any restraint, or are you like almost done with it by the time you get to the movie?
To me, I find it even like the small sizes usually, if I'm alone, is plenty. But I do plow through it during the movie. But then I find like I get kind of queasy after eating all that popcorn. You know, the grease and the butter
Yeah,
just
I've
makes
built
me a
up
little
an
bit
iron
like, ugh.
stomach.
Yeah. But I love it. But I think it's definitely better if you can split it with somebody else, you know.
Yes.
Or have some self-restraint and go, I'm just going to have half of this and then save the rest, I guess. I don't know. You can keep it in the car and snack on it while
I
you're
liked
driving.
getting
It's
the
good.
big tub. I never ate through the whole thing if I was alone. But then at some theaters, you can actually refill for free.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would occasionally, when the kids were younger, I would go to an afternoon movie. I would get the large. I'd eat what I wanted. And then I would get a topper off and I would bring it home for them for an after-school snack.
Good idea.
Right?
Yeah.
A little something different. But then I also love making popcorn at home. Now, are you a air popper person? Are you?
Absolutely.
So you do the air popper. See, I
Yeah.
do the Crazy 8 where you add a little bit of oil.
Now, do you have one of those mechanisms with the dome?
Yes.
Okay, and it's like a griddle with a dome and it poppity pops.
Yeah, and it has the little like bar that goes around, moving the kernels around.
You know,
Yes.
I just watched the Food That Built America that was about Orville Redenbacher versus Pop Secret. And
Is it even a competition?
well, see, that's the thing, that Orville Redenbacher, you know, real dude, and when he debuted his popcorn, he took the popcorn world by storm and then became the number one popcorn manufacturer in the country after like a year. I didn't know. I knew he was successful. I didn't know he was that successful. And then when microwave popcorn came about, the Pop Secret people, which was really General Mills, I believe,
Yep.
they came up with a better way to pop the popcorn in the bags. So then they quickly became like the big deal. But then Orville Redenbacher copied them, and then bam, he was back at number one again. So-
I mean, well, and what's the one that you would put on the stove and it was the foil? that
Jiffy
would-
Pop. Yeah, they also talked about that guy.
Right? And
Yeah.
I mean, that was like an experience.
That was like a science experiment. Yeah.
Totally
It
was.
Yeah, it looked like way more fun.
Totally. And my
than
parents would
your
never
average thing.
let me get that. Like, they never let us get that because it was a mess, which is funny because we're going to be talking about like rules that our families had in our childhood. Well, that's one of them. Like, we're not making a mess out of that.
And then recently I got a bag of the Pop Secret just because it was like a freebie thing. So I had that, and the air popper is better.
Yeah. Microwave,
There's always like
popcorn
you can't
lung.
seem
the
to
popcorn
not
smell, and
get it to slightly be burnt.
I'm with you.
They say put it on for 4 minutes, but listen for it to slow down with the popping. But then are you standing there with a stopwatch? 1 second. It's
Yes.
gone by.
Yes,
'Cause
you have to.
when I pulled this bag out, it had literally been 2 minutes. So that's half of what they recommended. And yet it was still slightly burnt. So
I think that microwaves
know.
are like, it's higher and faster, and so they can't keep up with the changing times. But yeah, I love my Crazy 8 popcorn popper, and I love making it fresh. And I make a truffle popcorn that is delicious, and mix into the popcorn instead of butter or some other topping. I add truffle oil and some sea salt, and it's so
that sounds great.
good.
My secret?
Yeah.
Tajin.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting. That's the stuff that my daughter puts on cucumber.
Oh, it's very good on cucumber, but also amazing on popcorn
Oh, I might have to try that.
and nachos.
Well, that makes sense.
I'll tell you one more observation about popcorn this week. And it's so funny that this comes up as popcorn day this week, when like literally the last 7 days, I've had way more popcorn interaction than I normally do in a 365 day.
Hey, I mean, it's the universe telling you.
Yes, something was just Like, hey, get ready. Popcorn day's coming up. So normally I buy whatever the cheapest popcorn, the store brand popcorn, because there's honestly not much difference, right?
Right. In this economy?
In this economy, yes. So I never had Orville Redenbacher popcorn before.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but this time around, for whatever reason, on sale. So I buy it. I think, oh, now I'm getting the good stuff. I'm graduating in my popcorn appreciating.
I'm an adult now.
I'm an adult now. I've got the gourmet popcorn. And I got to say, highly disappointed.
Really?
I'd say, if anything, it popcorn doesn't have a ton of flavor. It's more of a flavor convenience.
Canvas.
Yeah. But even by those standards, it was a little bland. And, the whole thing about it, and they express this in the Food That Built America, is he spent like 10 years trying to develop a seed that would pop more than your average popcorn seed. I got to say, I had more duds with Orville Redenbacher.
Interesting.
Now, maybe I just got a bad batch. That's entirely possible.
Well, I don't do any of the microwave popcorn.
Now, this wasn't microwave. This was the standard stuff in the air popper. And yeah, Orville Redenbacher let me down. But,
Interesting.
he's long gone, so maybe the quality control is not there anymore. I don't know, but yeah. So.
Well, and I did learn a fun fact in researching this, of course, and that is that a popcorn kernel can pop up to like 3 feet high.
I believe it, because the popcorn was flying from the bowl last time I made it onto the ground. So.
And it surprises me every time, and I jump. Yeah, I'm normally not like jumpy, but I was totally jumpy. Well, I'm glad that we are alike in our love of and appreciation for popcorn, and now I'm going to have to watch the episode of what is it?
The Food That Built America.
Yes, and the funny thing is, I was on Hulu the other day, and I was looking at all the different episodes of the shows, and I was like, oh, this is Eric's jam. I know he's seen this one, and I know he's seen this one, and I know he's seen this one.
I've been binging it, yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. That's cool. Okay, the last thing that it is today is it's National Get to Know Your Customers Day. Now, there were other things too, but this is what I picked because here's the deal. We don't hear from any of our customers, aka listeners, so I figured that I would just have a desperate...
We do occasionally.
Yeah. And
not as much as we'd like.
Right. We want people to interact. Like, I'm happy that we're background noise.
475-999
Exactly. I'm happy. I'm happy that we are background noise. I'm happy that you're probably just listening and it's like white noise in the background and everything. But like, we need to know. We need to know that you're listening. We need to get to know you and what you like.
What's your favorite popcorn topping?
Yes. Tell us that. Tell us if you had Jiffy Pop, or if you're doing Orville Redenbacher, or if you're doing microwave or air pop. Just, we want to get to know you. Because getting to know you, I'm not going to break out in song. And then for birthdays, the 2 birthdays that I pick are 2 people that are on the 2 ends of the spectrum. Edgar Allan Poe, Dolly Parton.
Happy birthday, quoth the raven.
Exactly. Nevermore.
Yes, because he's long gone. So.
He is long gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Dolly, thankfully, is still with us. So.
And she,
yeah.
I mean...
She's a national treasure.
She is a national treasure. And in his own way, Edgar Allan Poe.
Of course, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, didn't he write Annabelle Lee?
I don't know all his works.
I think he wrote Annabelle Lee. I was a child and she was a child in our kingdom by the sea.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Anyway, so happy birthday, Edgar. Happy birthday, Dolly, and many more to her. And then I don't know any other holidays. I didn't see any international ones today.
We hardly have time to talk about popcorn, so.
I know. So anyway, so before we move on, anything that we missed talking about last week that you feel like you need to circle back?
Just as always, my regret is that we barely touched on the topic. There were so many more states and things to talk about, to places that we visited and highlights and stuff. And really, we only had time to kind of list where we've been. So
totally.
Yeah. If we get that topic again, we'll have to go a little more in depth on highlights of places. Or maybe we can put this on the wheel now, just say like favorite places in America that we visited, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Or like favorite random like tourist trap.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest yarn in America, or like I think it's Longaberger, the basket company that they're building is made to look like one of their baskets.
Now, did you go to any of those? Because I can't say that I've been to any of these like roadside attractions, but I was always begging as a kid, Mom, we've got to go to the mystery spot. We
went to a couple. Like as a kid, I remember going to Howe's Caverns, which is in New York, and learning about stalactites and stalagmites and like the whole thing. So we did a couple of them, but not generally. But Pete is really into that kind of thing. And so he'll always point things like that out. And so one of these days, he's threatening to do the whole road trip thing. And I suspect that we will see everything that is on our route, which, you know what, I'm down for.
Well, the one that I really wanted to go to as a kid was the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose. And
my son's been there.
I'd always beg Mom, can we, because I'd see the signs, we'd be traveling from Fresno to Redding. And I'd be like, Mystery House. And she's like, that is like an hour and a half out of our way. And we're not going there. So finally, as an adult, when I was down in the Bay Area, I said, this is it. I am going. And it was kind of fun.
Will really liked it. He said it was fascinating that she was like, there's stairways to like nowhere because it was like, oh, the ghosts can't find me if they can't get to me. Fascinating.
Yeah, she was kind of crazy. And so she was afraid that, she had a curse and it would catch up with her if she ever stopped building this house. So she hired people to constantly be working on it. And so, there is all kinds of like passages and little rooms and stuff that serve no purpose other than to be built.
Right. And to like throw the demons, the ghosts, the whatever off her scent.
But I would say it's fun to visit if you're in the San Jose area, but don't go an hour and a half out of your way to do it. So it's not worth that. But, it was fun.
Yeah. Will said the same thing. All right. Well, then let's take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to talk about some of the rules that we had when we were kids and also how things have maybe changed a bit since we were kids. So keep listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk. We will be right back. Stacy Connects. It's not just my business, it's my superpower. Whether you need the right tone and messaging for a new venture or you've plateaued with your current one, I can help. I connect clients with themselves and their potential. Then I identify unique solutions that translate your brand into messaging that connects your target audience with your business. Go to stacyconnects.com to connect with me and your messaging.
Interested in learning something new? Meeting someone new? Find out things that we have in common? Well, of course you are. You're a human being. So let's get intentional about it. Join me, JDK Winnikin, every week and get all of that in less than an hour. I'm a writer, a historian, a social commentator, and my show is all about you. Really, that's what it's called. This show is all about you. Get my perspectives on the week's news and hear fascinating guests whose stories will inspire and move you. My show is all about giving you something that connects us. Join me Mondays on Kixie 880 at 3 p.m. or download it as a podcast.
Can't get enough of Stacy and Eric? Then be sure and check out Stacy Connects with Stacy Heller wherever you find podcasts. Stacy chats with guests about a variety of topics, hoping to make a connection through conversation.
Don't ask me to talk. Welcome back to the show. You are listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk with Stacy and Eric. So before the break, we were talking about how we always talk about some of the holidays. It is Annie Day. Hey, all you Annies out there. It's Popcorn Day. And it's Getting to Know Your Customers Day, which I very loosely connected to our listeners. So a reminder, we'd love to get to know you and we'd love to hear from you. So don't forget that you can reach out to us. Come on, Eric, you do it. You do it best.
Yes, you can. You can text, you can call 475-999-2726 or 475-999-CRAM.
Love it. So good. Okay, so this topic, when I put it on the wheel, it was inspired by a conversation that I had with a couple of friends, and we were talking about like these random rules that we had when we were kids. And, you know, it was kind of like a comparison, like, oh, did you have that rule too? And whatever. And I also thought it was interesting then to have kind of the juxtaposition of like the rules that are out there now and how things have changed. So like, you know, for instance, when I was a kid, we could stay out all day in the summer. And when the lights came down, we basically like, you came home. And we didn't, I think we had a dime in our pocket in case we really needed to call mom. But otherwise, there was like no communication. And now kids are a phone call away. Young kids have phones. They can text, or they have an Apple Watch. If you're not willing to give your kid a phone, then you give them the Apple Watch. And so you are so much more connected than we were when we were kids.
Do they still have the phones for kids with just like the 4 buttons that call home in the fire department, etc.?
I don't know.
Fireflies, I think they were called.
Yeah. I don't know. Good question. But yeah, I mean, back when I was a kid, you know, you never heard from you never reached out to your parents.
Sure.
I mean,
you had to be home by dark. That was
right.
the thing usually.
Exactly. When the streetlights come on, you come home.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's start first with some random rules that either maybe were a universal rule, or I found that I was typing these. I'm like, this feels very specific to my family. Like the no sprinkles on your ice cream cone, which was not about the extra expensive sprinkles. We really only got ice cream when we were on a road trip because my dad, as a hobby, he took photographs. He was a very, very talented photographer. And being on the East Coast, we would take these road trips that weren't just like, you know, a town over. We'd go like a couple states over. So they were these long car rides. And so the only benefit that I experienced from these long car rides were we were guaranteed to stop for ice cream. However, I was not allowed to get sprinkles because they'd get in the car.
Okay. That's funny.
Yeah. So to this day, so I had this deal with my dad. I finally spoke up once and I was like, okay, if I can eat the ice cream fast enough to get the sprinkles off, can I get sprinkles? And he was like, sure. So from then on, I made sure I always ordered first. And I, to this day, eat ice cream so fast.
And you don't get the headache?
No.
Wow.
You're
a pro.
I eat the ice cream. Yeah. And I don't need a napkin. I am efficient. And that is all because of the rule that my dad had and my way of trying to figure out how to work within his rule. Yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, we did not get ice cream on road trips, and it was about the cost. But, you know, funny that you'd have the sprinkles rule because it would get in the car. My mom would give us, we normally couldn't have the sugary cereals, but on road trips, she'd give us like a box of like Fruity Pebbles or you know, Cocoa Puffs to nosh on. Yeah. And like years later, you would find like Fruity Pebbles underneath the car seats and stuff, or sometimes ground into the carpet just because they, you know, you can't keep a handful of cereal from not, you know, dropping a couple pieces of it.
Especially if there's a bunch of you like sticking your little grubby mitts into the box.
Yes.
And so who got the prize? Because a lot of times those cereals had prizes in them.
Maybe whoever found it first would just quietly pocket that.
Right. Well, see, the rule I think that we had in our house was whoever opened the cereal.
Okay.
Because we totally would like dig through the entire thing.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Very sanitary. Okay. So a rule that I remember from growing up is that, and it's clear that by the time my parents got to me, by the way, that this rule was no longer in play because my older brother, Peter, who's the middle child, he wore my parents out because their rule was you can't leave the table until you finish eating your dinner. And my brother, God love him, he is like meant to retire and become like some kind of a Buddhist monk or something because he would just quietly sit there then. And my older brother would go to bed and, you know, probably as a baby, my parents would put me to bed and he would just wait it out.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, fine, you have to go to bed. Because there were certain, like, lima beans from a box, like, in the freezer section.
Yeah, there was a couple times where I had to wait it out because there was a similar rule, and that usually Mom would make something that I liked that we all enjoyed, but occasionally she'd spring some spaghetti squash on me, and I hate squash, but especially spaghetti squash. And
texture? Is it the texture for you?
The texture, the flavor, all of the above. And then it would go cold pretty quick too. So once it's cold, then trying to eat it then is just horrendous. And I remember one time I actually was saved by an earthquake because
What?
Yes, because I'm sitting at the table just staring at this squash, not willing to eat it. And apparently we had an earthquake. Now, I just can never feel them. But my mom comes out and she's like, "Did you feel that earthquake?" And I'm like, "There wasn't any earthquake." And she's like, "Look at the plants swinging and stuff."
You were like, I was too focused on, like,
On the squash.
on
yeah.
the squash.
She's like, "You should have got under the table." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't feel the earthquake.
Oh my gosh.
And so, but that changed the subject enough that I was able to just toss the squash.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, like, finally you got,
Whole lot of shaking going on. And
hey, whatever you got to do, you got to do. That's kind of funny. Like, I could just see a little Eric, like, sitting there and, like, willing it.
I'd say at least an hour had gone since
Yeah.
Mom left the table.
Right.
Where I'm
And I was
just
like-
sitting there looking at it.
Like, nope, it's going to be you or me.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, a big thing for us. So I have made mention of the fact that I grew up in upper middle class family on the East Coast. My paternal grandparents, they came from a good amount of money. My maternal grandparents, not as much, but we were raised kind of with all of the social norms of the one set of grandparents, right? So it was all about, like, children being seen and not being heard, and behavior, and being respectful. Like, I remember at dinner one time, I had clearly seen on TV or someplace, there was some influence, and I took my knife and fork and kind of, like, put it up like, "I'm King Henry VIII, I am. Well, I was sent immediately to my room with no dinner. So behavior was, like, such a big thing. How we spoke, how we answered the phone, which on the one hand I can appreciate because manners, they're important. On the other hand, it was like, okay, but is everything for other people all the time? And there was a lot of that. So there's some happy medium. I do believe that manners and kids, like, there should be no such thing as, like, best manners. I've heard people talk about, like, we're going to use our best manners. And I'm like, manners are manners. The person that's serving you at Dairy Queen deserves the same amount of respect that the Queen does. Like, if somebody is, you're interacting with someone, then they deserve respect.
Right.
I mean,
The
assuming that
Dairy Queen person probably is not going to have the fanfare.
no. However, like, please and
or the
thank
red
you.
carpet, but
right?
yes.
But the please and thank you and
But
acknowledging and all those things.
You wouldn't curtsy or bow when you
mean,
got your fries. or
I
whatever.
might if I'm really hungry and they taste that good. So that was definitely a set of, like, house rules that dominated my upbringing. Did you have any of that?
Yeah, I think that stuff is good within reason,
Yeah.
because kids need to know the manners, but they also need to be cut some slack just because they're
you're
kids.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
course.
no, like, their kids stuff for us. It was
Yeah.
like, I think my dad once told my brothers, like, it was like, don't leave your sports equipment out or something. And it rained or something. And my dad, like, their mitt or something got ruined and he threw it away. And he was like, I told you to put it away. And it was like, well, that's one way to teach a lesson, except that I think probably the boys were in, like, Little League and needed to go get, like, another mitt. So I'm like, really, who is this on? But,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, if it's ruined, though,
But is it? I mean, I feel like mitts have
don't
been
know.
left out in the rain before.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That really would have had to gotten wet.
Big time.
Yeah.
All right. What about the whole like you have to wait to swim, like after you eat?
Yeah, I think that was kind of like an old wives' tale sort of thing. That I don't know that it was specifically a rule in our household. We didn't have a pool for one thing,
either.
so
But
you know
like,
that wasn't
if we
a
went
big issue.
someplace, it was like, oh, you got to wait 30 minutes before you swim.
It was probably 30 minutes before we had gotten to the pool after eating, so it never really came into play. But I did look that one up because, you know, that is one that you hear a lot to this day. And the common belief is that the blood going to your digestive tract after eating steals the blood that you need to keep your arms and legs pumping during swimming. But that's unfounded, say doctors. And they also say that, you know, while it does take a little bit of extra blood to digest, it's not enough to cause you any problems. But you could potentially get a minor cramp, which is no fun. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Interesting. All right. Any other rules that you had?
You know, I think we probably had the same rules, you know.
Yeah. It was probably somewhat like a generational thing and whatever. Now, when I was thinking about some of this stuff, you know, I was thinking about I don't even want to say like some of them aren't even rules. They're just now like social norms, like seatbelts.
Yeah.
Like I don't
We
remember,
always had to buckle up, for sure.
Well, I mean, I don't remember always having seatbelts in the back. Like I used to sleep. My dad had this car that had like where the window came down in the back. There was kind of like that spot behind the seats where like some people put stuffed animals or whatever, right? You know what I'm talking about? In the back of a sedan, it's like, I don't know, there's a ledge. I used to sleep on there on long car rides because my brothers would take up all the room. Like that can't be safe.
Probably not.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, did we not have seatbelts or were my parents willing to watch me like go through the windshield? I mean, honestly.
I think they probably just thought, well, we'll be careful with our driving. But as we know, you know, that doesn't always work. So,
Right.
yeah, best if kids are all buckled in, which to my mom's credit, we always were. But remember those station wagons where they had like the seat facing the back of the car?
Yes.
Like you'd have so many rows, and then I don't think we ever had one of those, but
We didn't either,
I'd
but a friend
see
had
them,
one.
you know, like on the road, and then
It seems
it's
so cool.
weird if you're in the front seat, and then suddenly the people behind you are looking directly at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah. It was very weird.
Making faces usually because they're 8 years old.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like being totally little kids. You know, I was thinking about some of these rules and, you know, things like the playing outside all day, the technology thing. I mean, like it was a really big deal that I got my own phone line as a teenager. And so I had my own phone in my room and like basically I was like the ish, right? Like super spoiled that I had that. And yeah, that makes sense. But generally you had like one, maybe a second phone in the house and it had the really long cord. So if you wanted privacy, then you like took the cord and you had to like head into the pantry or the hall or down the hall.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so different than it is now. And now kids are like, I'm not telling you my password, mom and dad.
Right.
And I'm like, wow, okay. So that's changed. The other thing that I wrote down is the relationship to dirt. So as a little kid, I used to stay at my friend Suzanne Murphy's house. Her parents let us play in dirt and make mud pies and stuff. And it was not like we had to come in and have like a full dousing with like a hazmat system and suit and, you know, Purell and whatever. It was like we sort of washed our hands and then we put on our cute little cardigan and we headed off to church. Like we played in the dirt. We got dirty. We weren't total germaphobes like we are now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess it depends how close you live to a Superfund site, because
It's a super fun site.
that's where they've come and cleaned up an environmental disaster. Yes.
Oh.
Like, for instance, in the Puget Sound area, there's several places that were Superfund sites because of, you know, industry pumping out toxic chemicals into the air, like the smelter down in Tacoma, the Ruston area, Sarco, I believe it was. So there was arsenic in the dirt. And that was just, coming out in clouds and then landing in the dirt. So those kids had to be very careful if they were playing in dirt. And there's a lot of places all over this country that are like that.
Well, funny you say that.
So it's not unfounded for parents to be worried about their kids
So clearly
eating
it's
dirt.
my parents, because we used to live, when we lived on Long Island, we lived behind what we kids affectionately called the pits, which essentially was probably like this big area like towns have where you're like pulling all the dirt and you're like for construction and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just this big area. And we totally played back there and were like running through the dirt, and like my brothers would play like G.I. Joe, and people had their BB guns and like, that kind of thing.
When I lived in Reno, we lived next to a vacant lot that was like
nothing bad happening there.
No, it was vacant for years. There was just like chunks of concrete, just like slabs of it, and like the old like wood and trash and stuff in there. And so that was gangbusters for me as a kid to go play with all that stuff. But yeah,
well, in your imagination,
luckily did not
right?
hurt myself too much.
Well, and that's the other thing. So not just the relationship to dirt, but parental supervision. I mean, the like come home when like the street lights go on, and like, what did you do today? I'm like, I don't know. I played in the creek. I went here. I went there. That is such a difference from how it was or how it is now. I mean, now like most of your kids' activities are scheduled because the world's changed so much that letting them go off in the neighborhood, parents are like, God knows what's going to happen.
Right.
It's a hard world.
I think because we're all so aware of all the dangers now, whereas, back then
we were
you
young
might
and
not have
stupid.
known. Well, I mean, it's like,
sunscreen, right? Like,
Yeah.
think about like melanoma and like wearing
Right.
sunscreen. Like, people were sun worshipers. Like, you put on baby oil and you.
I remember like girls putting on Crisco.
Right.
To get that tan.
Right.
And it's just insane to think about now.
Right.
You know.
And, it turns out like, turns out that's bad. Or even
Yeah.
smoking.
Right.
And, and how much that has changed. Bike helmets and how they're, now it's like a law in some places. Whereas once upon a time, like, I didn't have a bike helmet. It's not anything. I even think about the jungle gyms that I played on as a kid, where you were playing on essentially the playground was in like the parking lot of my school. And
Yep.
so there was no soft, like,
I'm so jealous of kids now because they have most playgrounds for schools now, and a lot of parks have padding underneath. So if you fall off that jungle gym, you're not going to die.
No.
Back when I was a kid, for sure, you would be scraped up. Your
time.
knees would be scraped up. Your hands would be scraped up. And yeah, no, I would have much rather had that padding down there. And I've heard some people say, well, kids need that so they can learn that life is hard. And it's like kids are going to learn life is hard no matter what. They don't need their limbs,
Broken and
broken and scraped up.
teeth like falling out.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like, I mean, it was a dangerous world out there.
For sure.
And, and I also think about like rules around homework. Like, I don't remember, interestingly, and again, I sort of wonder if it's the birth order thing for me being the youngest and the only girl. I think my parents had given up on me. So they were not overly involved in me getting homework done. So I don't remember rules about homework. And now I feel like kids have access to so many more things that there's more rules about like, this needs to be done before you can do this. And
Yeah.
I
I remember the official rule was you do your homework right when you got home. But I never followed that rule, and Mom didn't have the time to enforce it.
Right.
So, we were at a standstill.
Well, and you were, sort of left to your own devices, right?
Yes,
And then it was report card time, and we found out what was really going on.
exactly.
I don't know. The world has changed, and I'm definitely not trying to do like the back in my day, because there are some things that are so much better. But really what it comes down to is that times are just different,
They are.
right? It's not better or worse, it's just different. So anyway,
But I'll tell you one thing that is better.
I know what you're going to say.
Sandwiches. When you involve Vance Dingfelder from Dingfelder's Deli.
I know, and we missed him last week, so I'm excited that he's going to be back on the show this week. So let's take a break, and then when we come back, let's talk to Vance from Dingfelder's and Nourish Catering. We'll be right back. Whether it's fly fishing or French pastry, we all have something that makes our tail wag. Involuntary and instinctive, it's sparked by excitement, inspired by purpose, and it speaks to who we are. I'm Stacey Heller of Stacey Connects. I lead clients to the place that makes their tail wag. As a creative director, I bring ideas to life. As a podcast producer, I give ideas a voice. Stacey Connects. It's my superpower. If you want to connect with me, Stacey Heller, go to staceyconnects.com. Don't ask me to talk. Hey, welcome back to the show. You're listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk, and it is our favorite segment of the show.
That's right. It's that time where we talk to the Lord of the Sandwich, the King of the Knish, the Duke of the Deli himself. That's right, Vance Dingfelder from Dingfelder's Deli. Hello, sir. How are you?
I've missed you.
We didn't get a chance to talk to you last week, and so we definitely missed you as well, sir.
I'm not used to that.
But I know how busy that you were down at the deli.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
boy. And yes, that's exactly what was going on.
I mean, it's a good problem, but it's a problem when we don't get to talk to you. So
It is, you know what, and you're absolutely right. It is a good problem. It's a blessing. And I can't tell you how much fun it has been having people back inside, the energy, you know, and granted, we're trying to staff up and train people properly. So, you know, with the overwhelming success of our customers wanting to be inside and sit down, the energy and the vibe, it's like, whoa, we're having lines all day long, right? So, you know, the patience that people have. And what's so cool is they're all so nice. I've had people that are training going, your customers are so nice.
now, this is perfect because we did talk about the fact that the deli, while not like fully up to like where you want it, it is like open for people to come in, and how perfect on this, the day that is get to know your customers day.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's probably my favorite thing to do, is getting to know the customers. Because honestly, you know, delicatessen is that's what it does. It nourishes the community. It nourishes the people that live around here, right? The people that come to see us. Then they're buying food and taking it back home, right? And they eat it throughout the week. So we are essentially a part of those families. And people, we have regulars that come in 2, 3, 4 times a week. Even people that are on their way home and just want to grab a piece of cheesecake, and that happens a lot. That's the blessing of doing this whole thing, honestly. So to have a day devoted to understanding your customers, that's what personally, and what I try to convey to the staff and the team, that, you know, we connect with them, right? If they want something, we take care of them. And that's what we do at the end of the day.
I love that. And
Love that.
Well, here's the thing. What I love is that now my son Charlie is in the neighborhood and he's one of your customers.
Okay, so I can't tell you how cool that was, okay? You know, because he worked at the deli. He knows what the deli is.
Yep.
I mean, it was probably his first real job.
Yeah.
You know, and the staff loved him. And he came in because he wanted a matzo ball soup and some latkes, right? He just wanted to be comforted. And he needed something warm.
Yep.
And I thought, how cool is that? That, you know, because he's busy now.
He is busy. He better be busy.
He's doing calculus. Not only calculus, I think it's calculus 4. I don't think there's a tougher class something in medicine, and even medicine for calculus.
I don't know. He's taking drawing too. That seems like it's kind of tough.
No, drawing is kind of nice because it teaches you how to, write, which we don't really do.
That's true. That's true. But I think it says a lot that somebody that worked at the deli comes back there and is like, I'm in the neighborhood. And, and you do know. I mean, I have been to the deli countless times. And when I see you there, the number of people that it reminds me of the song from, I think, Sesame Street, like, who are the people in your neighborhood? And, it's like, you're like, oh, hey, Bob. Hey, Maria. Hey, Elmo.
Right.
I was thinking of Cheers when you said that.
Oh, well, yes, there is
You
that.
want to go where Vance knows your name.
Exactly. Norm. And I love the image of you, like, when the half door where, you place your order and, your head's poking out and you're like, hey.
I got to tell you, that was a shot. That got me. That's me, right? At that, the whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you, Stacey. That was really nice.
Well, it's true. I mean, yes, I'm a nice person, and yes, I love you, and I love these businesses that you have. However, I'm not willing to lie for my art. And
that's so good.
And you have that connection in your neighborhood, and you are literally a cornerstone because you're on a corner. See what I did there?
Right.
In the neighborhood. And a lot of the choices that you've made in terms of, menu and how you do things are for the ease and convenience of the people that you serve.
That is true, right? And also, I'm concerned with, affordability. They have to be able to, and a soup and a latke is a good meal that isn't that ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's affordable, and that's why the Seattle style sandwich, right? Things that are, I get a lot of flack from people that do, Instagram reviews sometimes that it's expensive, it's pricey. Well, it is expensive. The food's expensive.
Right.
It's expensive to make, But I'm conscious of things that people can't afford. And, it has to be a place for everyone, right? That someone can come and get something to eat. And even if you can't buy it, and you're homeless, I mean, I do my best to feed those people too.
Yep.
Right? The only thing I ask is that they respect. Right?
Absolutely.
And even then, sometimes I'll still feed you. You know what I mean? I'm from New York. I'm pretty thick-skinned.
Well, the funny thing about New Yorkers is that we're thick-skinned, and yet we're also have the gooey inside.
Oh, you know what? Absolutely. I mean, New Yorkers at the end of the day, that toughness, that thick-skinnedness is just there as a survival tactic. Really, everybody is kind of like, they want to help each other. And that comes out in snowstorms or times of disasters and things like that. When New Yorkers need to come together, they will always rise to the occasion, right? They don't give a
right.
They don't care, right? No, they don't care who you are, what you are. You need help, they're going to help you for the most part. Yes, they'll walk over you on the sidewalk, right? Because New Yorkers expect you to help yourself, right?
Right.
But when everybody's in trouble, everybody comes together.
It's true. So,
and that's really where I come from. That's it. I take care of people, right?
Yes, you
do.
And
that's what growing up in a restaurant does to you, and always being in the service industry, right? It teaches you that. So there's one. Let me tell you about something. This is big, okay? We're making Linzer tarts.
Oh, those are good. I don't every time you say something, I'm pretty much like, oh, that's good.
Well, and I have to tell you, they're not cheap, okay?
All right.
But, you got to charge a certain amount. If you're going to make it and sell it, you got to charge a certain amount.
Sure.
But I will tell you this. If you want a Linzer tart, a good Linzer tart, come on down.
I'm dying to know what a Linzer tart is because I've never had one.
You have not lived.
Linzer tarts were special because my parents, my parents were very young when I was born. They used to drive into the city to a place called Maxwell's Plum to buy a piece of Black Forest chocolate cake, okay? Because it was the best Black Forest chocolate cake in the world. And they would come home with this Black Forest chocolate cake in the box, right? Well, it's a wonder why I'm not thin. So they would also buy, it was a special thing because they'd come home with a box of 4 Linzer tarts in the box, right? And the way they would treat them, you knew they were special. So before I even put it in my mouth, I knew it was special. But then when you put it in your mouth and it's a good one, whoa.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a shortbread, and it typically has like some kind of a jam filling.
All right, that sounds great.
And
yeah, exactly.
people do them as like a tart, or they do like you can do a Linzer tart cookie.
Right, and that's what these are. These are a Linzer tart cookie, and they're like. Imagine, Eric, a shortbread cookie, right? That's got fluted around the edges with a hole in the middle, right? Now imagine one without the hole. So you take the one without the hole, you put the filling, and it's usually a jam, right? And then you cover it with the other cookie with the hole, and you dust it with powdered sugar.
Got it.
And they're divine, right? They're just wonderful.
And
it's
now that
a lot.
Yeah.
To eat one is more than enough, right? It's almost like those pink Uncle Seth's cookies, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot if you're going to eat one whole one. So, there you go.
Now that I see a picture of one of these, I have had one, and you're right, they're fantastic. So that's fantastic that you're going to be selling those now.
Our coffee cake, we made the coffee cake these days. The coffee cake is done.
Okay.
And we're starting to market it. So I started selling the Linzer tarts, and the coffee cake's going to come on this Friday.
All right. I'm going to be...
And the espresso bar is in. We just have to get trained.
Ooh.
The TV is in, right? We're going to do an espresso window.
Nice. Everything is falling into place. I love it.
It is kind of cool. It's really cool. We've been working a lot of time to get it to this point. People are coming in. It's a blessing. It's really nice.
It is a blessing. So,
Pete was in with the kids.
because I was out. I was sick and under the weather for so long. So I think
it was Grandma. Grandma saved you.
Yeah, she totally did. Sort of. Yeah. I mean, that's a conversation for offline. But now that I'm feeling better, I'll have to entice Charlie to meet me at Dingfelder's, and I'm sure that he would be willing to have lunch or a snack on me at the deli, and then I can try out the coffee cake.
Yeah, and bring me back a Linzer tart.
I will bring you back a Linzer tart.
That works.
There you go.
Works.
All right. So, hey, folks, you heard it from Vance himself. If you want to check out Dingfelder's Delicatessen, if you haven't been before, then go check it out. You can go to dingfelders.com. You can find the menus there. You can get the location of where it is. You can't miss the half red door. And you can also now go in and, hey, say hey to Vance. Let his staff know that you heard about Dingfelders and Nourish Catering from listening to our show. Who knows?
There you go.
Maybe he'll give you a big hug or something.
Next week, I'll tell you how many people mention the show. It's pretty cool.
Oh, all right. Gosh, this is like a cliffhanger. All right. Well, as usual, we so appreciate you and your support, and you make it so easy to support you because your food is so good. So remember, you can go to dingfelders.com or go to nourishcatering.com and fill your belly with warmth. And hey, it can't be a one-way relationship. Vance wants to get to know his customers, but you got to get to know Vance. So go in and say hi. Thanks, Vance.
He's not such a bad guy.
No, he's a great guy.
I love you guys.
Love you too.
Take
Bye.
care, Vance. All right, I'm craving that tart now.
They're so
nothing
good.
else.
Right? And it's one of those cookies that with the powdered sugar on it, you take that bite and you're kind of and you inhale it. So good.
For sure.
All right. So it's time to figure out.
What are we talking about next week?
Uh-oh.
You know that spin sound means that it's random, right?
Yes.
You know, just for the folks out there that may be going, oh yeah, they just picked this.
No, it's totally
random. Favorite cookie type.
No way.
Yes.
Wow, that's kind of fun. All right. So next week, let's talk about our favorite cookie types. There's so many different types. So maybe in categories or something. I don't know. We'll come up with something. All right. Well, in the meantime, folks, happy day. You'll hear from us next Thursday.
Yeah. Enjoy some popcorn or a Linzer tart or whatever you crave. And definitely go visit Vance at Digfelder's Deli and have a wonderful week. Thanks for listening to Don't Ask Me to Talk.
Later, Gators.